So everyone, will in this class we'll be talking about our global accelerator. For that, we'll go first of all and create our machine, and that machine will have our Apache web server installed. So for that, the first step, as we know, we go into our EC2 and let's go and create a machine. So I'll just go and create a load balancer, application load balancer, which will be having two instances. So both the instances should be having Apache web server installed into it. So for that reason, let's go to our Ubuntu server 20 over here. And let's go for, let's say, a T3A micro instance. So we do have our instance over here. Let's go and call this instance as, let's say, web server. So web server, now if I have to connect it to a web server, let's go and make a connection to it. First thing first, let's go and make a connection to it. I'm doing it via the browser only straight away. This, if you want, you can do it via PuTTY also. You can do it via your SSH commands also anyways. So for that, I go to securities over here. I click on security groups, and I'll also have to go and enable port number 80 over here. So because that's for HTTP traffic. So this here, I make it anywhere over here, and I click on save rules. So now if I go and have a look at my EC2 instance, which is the public IP over here, and hit this, the IP, I should see the web server actually coming up, which right now is not there. And the reason for that is because I don't have my web server installed. So let's go and do that first. Sudo apt-get update first. And once it is done, I'll also go and install Apache to inside this machine. Okay, so sudo apt-get install -y Apache 2. -y I am giving because I don't want it to ask me again that are you sure you want to install it or not. So I have my machine up and running. Now this web server, the moment it is all done, you should go over here and refresh your page. So this is my public IP over here. Now if I go and open this address, refresh the page, I should see the web server coming up. So yes, I have my web server up and running. Let's leave it like this now. Now what I'll do, I'll just go and create a load balancer, and I'll create an application load balancer in this case, like what we had done yesterday also. So we go and click on create load balancer, and we click on application load balancer right now. We go and give it a name, let's say a website. Now, one important thing to remember is to tell the subnets where you want this particular load balancer to be created. So for this, you are free to choose as many subnets as you want. But right now, because my instance happens to be in 1F, I'll go and at least choose 1F for sure. Okay, so I click on load balancer, create application load balancer. Let's call it something, let's say as a web server. And then at least I have to choose 1F, so that I have done, which is part of my VPC anyhow, and which is working on port number 80. Now you see this thing over here, create a global accelerator. What this is, we are going to see it very shortly. In the meantime, let's go to the security group. I don't need anything. Click on the security group. Here you can choose or you can create a new security group. So let's call it something like web server security group, and let's say enable port 80. So in this case, what will happen? It will just go and enable port number 80. Next, configure routing. In this case, you can create a new target group if you want. So let's call it as web server -website. And this has to work on port number 80. That's fine. Yeah, now if you want, you can give IP also. You can give some Lambda function also, or you can give the instance. In my case, because it's an instance, so I'm selecting the instance over here. If I click on next targets, I will see my machine. Now remember, in some cases you might not see the machine. The reason for that is that if you go to your load balancer, you wouldn't have selected that subnet. So if your machine is in 1A and you have selected 1E and 1F, then it's pretty obvious you won't be seeing that particular instance over there. So in that case, just go back and at least select that. It's also good to go and select all the subnets. It doesn't hurt you in any way. You can You are free to choose as many in short. So I click on create over here. And once everything is done, you should see that my global accelerator over here. So if you remember some time back, it told that you can try to consider the global accelerator also. Now, if that is the case, we will go back over here and we'll refresh it. Right now, if you understand the reason why it is not happening is because it is actually provisioning. It has to pass the basic health checks of the load balancer. Now, this itself is telling me that you should start to consider the global accelerator. So first of all, let's go and check what a global accelerator is in case of AWS. So a global accelerator in short is your traffic. So instead of going to one specific region, it will go to all the regions. So advantage of a global accelerator, as you can see, I have a location 1, location 2, location 3, which is faster and the endpoint is over here. Or take this example of a global accelerator. So in this case, uh, fine. So in this case, if you see, I have a Route 53, which is pointing to my CloudFront, which is pointing to my global accelerator. So which means I have to understand a CloudFront also anyhow. And then global accelerator itself is pointing to my region 1 and region 2. So let's understand what a global accelerator is now. You see, if you are pointing to your load balancer and your load balancer can be pointing to one machine, two machine, 10 machines, 20 machines, whatever it is, and those machines can be in different availability zone, which means that if in case there is some issue in one of the availability zone or inside one of the data centers, still you don't have any problem. So your load balancer still works. uh, Okay, so that's the accelerator over here. Now let's go and do it in one another way. Let's go and do the same thing again. So first of all, what we did was we went inside our instance over here and we went and created a instance. So I had gone and created an instance over here. So now let's do it in a different way. So what I will do, I have already created an instance and that instance is working on port number 80 over here. If I go and give this, I actually see my web server. Now in this case, I will go and launch another instance again and same Ubuntu 20 instance. And I'll select a, let's say a T3A small, launch and launch the instance. So once this instance is launched, we'll go and install our web server again here. So let it come up. In the meantime, because we already have a load balancer, now what I will do, I had already created an application load balancer. I'm not going to use that. Rather, while creating the load balancer itself, it gives me option. We are going to take help of that. So let this instance come up wherein I click on the connect button here and I click on connect over here. And once it is up, we will go back to that instance and install the web server. So for that, sudo apt-get update. And then sudo apt-get install and Apache 2. Now, in ideal cases, you could have done sudo apt-get install -y Apache 2 to ensure that it doesn't ask you for the permissions and it would have installed on its own. So if everything is good now, let's go to our IP address here and hit this. So I do see the EC2 or the machine actually coming up. Actually, I don't see it now. The reason is you have to go to your firewall or to your security group, wherein you have to go and enable port number 80 also. So here, let's go and just enable the HTTP traffic and save rules. And now if you go over here and hit enter, you should actually see the web server coming up. So you have two instances, both of them are having the web server. So this is instance 2 or web server 2. This is working fair for us. And let's go to web server over here and let's get this IP address and hit it over here. And this is also working. So both the web server, have a look at the IP, are working perfectly. Now the next step, logical step, is to go and create a load balancer and the application load balancer. So I already had one some time back. Let's go and delete it right now and we'll go and create a new load balancer now, and this time application load balancer. So let's call this load balancer as web server. But before you go over there, you will have to go and check that your instances are in which all AZs or availability zone. So both are in 1F right now. So at least I have to go and enable 1F for sure. So I click on create load balancer, application load balancer, and go and give web server. And it is working on port number 80, fine. At least I have to go and select 1F over here. Now, if I want, I can create a global accelerator also. I can give it a name. So let's call it a global hyphen accelerator, and let's give for our web server. Okay, then configure security settings, and it gives the first error for you. The concept is that whenever you are working on your load balancer and you have to give the subnets or the AZs, you at least have to give two AZs over there. It doesn't work with one. So I have selected one E also and one F also. So fine. Now if you go to security settings and configure security settings, if you want, you can give the default one, or you can go and create a new group. So let's call it as global accelerator hyphen SG. Same in description, at least, where I'll go and enable port number 80 for sure. The next, configure routing. Here I can give my web servers. It has to go on that particular instance and click on next register target. In this case, I'll select both the instance, click on add to register and review, and click on create. So actually, if you see, application load balancer looks a lot same as your classic load balancer. So both are almost the same things only. So click on close now. Now what will happen is, first of all, you should see a DNS name actually coming up over here, where we'll hit it and we'll go to any one of the instance. Apart from that, you are going to see one more thing, and that is the global accelerator also coming up in parallel. So global accelerators can be created in two ways. First of all, though, you can go and create a global accelerator manually. And how to do that? You can go to your here and you can click on create accelerator, and you can go and give the name of the accelerator over here. So let's say accelerator -1. Click on next. Here you will have to give whatever port numbers you want, protocol, whatever you have, TCP, and then over here you will have to give the region. In my case, US East 1. Click on next, and the moment you click on create accelerator, it can be done. Or alternatively, you can go and do it this way, wherein you have automatically created it from your application load balancer screen itself. So that's the next way. Right now, this accelerator I had created earlier, which is there, let's just go and delete it, or fine, let it be for some time. We'll come back to that one. Let this one be created right now. Before that, let's go to our application load balancer, refresh it, and in some time it should become active. The moment it becomes active, we go and copy our DNS name over here and paste it over here, and I should see the web server actually coming up. So yes, I indeed see the web server coming up, which is web server -this US ALP1 Amazon AWS.com. Now again, if you want, you can go and do a ping on that, where it tells you the IP address is 54.227.25.85. If you want, you can open that address also. That will also anyhow open up your web server only. Alternatively, you can go to your network interfaces over here and refresh it, and you can see that you have the IP addresses now, which is 54.227.25.85 and this particular IP. So because both the instances are in 1F right now, that is why you see this IP address. If both were in 1E, you would have seen that. Why do I need two subnets even if both of them are working in 1F? Because load balancer itself at least needs two subnet. Apart from that, you will also see that your global accelerator also has come up over here and over here. Okay, so let's go back to our global accelerator. And we see that it is still being created at the moment. Let it be created. And the moment it is created, we'll see that the IP address are allocated to that machine also. So right now, if you have to look at the network interface, a network interface is an easy way by which it will tell you all the IPs which are there in your system, the private IPs, the public IPs, whatever your instances are using actually. So next time, if you have to think about the IP address, at what's the IP address of this machine, if you have logically named the instances properly, like over here and here, just by looking at that, you can understand that what is the IP. So if you see on this one, That's the security group, that's the subnet, this is the VPC ID, this is the network interface ID, this is the public DNS, private DNS. So just by looking at that, you can understand that, okay, this is my instance ID and that's my private IP and that's my public IP over here. Okay, so fine, let it happen now. In the meantime, let's go back to our accelerator to see if it is still active. This generally might take quite some time in becoming active, and the reason for that is it is actually deploying it across multiple regions. Okay, so global accelerator concept is that you go and deploy the accelerator in one place, and people those who are near to a edge location or near to a data center location are going to see the global endpoint of the accelerator, which is deployed inside that region. So this concept is known as caching also, wherein the people are going to see the website from nearest to them. For let's take an example. For example, I am in, let's say, in Chennai right now. So I will see the data center which is nearest to me, which is AWS Mumbai. Uh, for instance, I am in, let's say, Japan right now. So I will be seeing the data center which is in Tokyo at the moment. Okay, so this concept is known as your content delivery network, or CDN. So what happens in case of CDN? Let's have a look at that. Let's go to the images straight away. And this is your one. So let's have a look at this picture over here. If someone from America is trying to open, if someone from here is trying to open, the nearest location is your somewhere in New York, so they open that. If someone from US West Coast is trying to open, the nearest is in Alaska, they open that. Someone from South America, Brazil is trying to open, they open it from Brazil over here. And similarly, these are all the edge locations. Now there is one place which is controlling all these edge locations. This location happens to be the main data center for us, and that data center is in Europe. So now if someone from India has to open, they open up the data center of India. But at the end of the day, India's data center is also refreshing the information, and they are taking it from the data centers in Europe. So this is known as your content delivery network. You have created the whole network over here, and whatever content is there is delivered to these end clients at the end of the day. So this is known as your CDN. CDN inside AWS is used in various ways. One of the ways is something known as a CloudFront. Before we go to CloudFront, let's just once go and have a look at the global accelerator to understand. So if you go back to your accelerator over here, you see the DNS name over here. You go and hit this global accelerator over here, and you see now instead of pointing to any other place, this particular address or this unique name .awsglobalaccelerator.com is opening your website. Where is this website? Inside your region. What region? North Virginia. So this is how it works in the first place. This is what the concept of global accelerator is. Now, if you go and open this one, on the other hand, this is not going to work. And the reason for that is you haven't configured it properly. So while you create the load balancer, you can go and give the access to your global accelerator, and it works. And it should work the same way as it is doing right now. So go to this DNS here, new address, paste it, and it will automatically open. Also have a look at how fast this actually happens up. The reason is because the caching is done. So this concept is finding a lot of use cases these days because your website load time actually decreases a lot. So just have a look at the global accelerator and try to create one yourself for your sample website. Okay, now to delete it, because accelerators are indeed expensive, first you will have to click on disable and then you will have to click on delete. So this one should be deleting over here. Don't remember, it might take some time. So fine. Click here and click on delete. So first of all, you will have to disable the accelerator. After the accelerator is disabled, after that only you can go and delete it. So once you do that, anyhow, you will see that these addresses will also keep on going down over here. So accelerators will go down, and the reason for that is that your IP addresses are going now. So any global accelerator is anyhow not working, so your IP addresses are not being used at the moment. So this is how, or what is the concept of your accelerator. Okay, so let's go to our CloudFront distribution over here and invalidations. And once it is completed, if I go over here and I refresh the page, now I see new server over here. So this is an alternate way to the CloudFront distribution, how you can do it over there. Okay, so let's go and just do one more thing over here. Let's go to CloudFront and let's delete the same thing and do the part again. So for that, let's go and delete it. Now deleting is not straightforward because first you have to go and disable it. After that, you will have to go and delete it. So let's go to create distribution, get started, give your domain name, whatever is the load balancer here, and then go and redirect HTTP to HTTPS. And then this is pointing over here, fair enough. And I want to use all the edge locations and click on create distribution. Once that is done, first of all, let's go and delete it. You see delete is still disabled. The reason it takes time. So once everything is done, if I go this over here and I hit this address over here, I'll see nothing. The reason is it is still being enabled at this point of time. The status is in progress. So once it comes up, once we hit it, we will be forwarded to our load balancer, and that load balancer will forward us to your EC2 instance, and the EC2 instance anyhow have the content as new server written inside them. So that's the concept of your CloudFront distribution network. We'll have to wait for some time to see that live in action. Okay, so let it wait right now in the meantime. Okay, also remember that if you are not using your CloudFront distribution network, you should choose to delete it. If you don't, then it will increase your bill like anything. Okay, now let's see this. In the meantime, let's go to our AWS calculator, pricing calculator, and let's go and have a look at our CloudFront, that how much will it cost you if you are going for the CloudFront distribution. So if you go for CloudFront, you don't see anything over there. And the reason for that can be that this service itself is not right now inside the AWS calculator, in which case you might want to go inside your older calculator. So that calculator is present in calculator.s3.amazon.aws.com. Okay. So if it is available, it will show you over there. If it is not available, like I believe that it is disabled now. So in that case, the service won't be visible to you. So it says access denied. So it means the old one is disabled. Now the only thing that you can work on is your new calculator. So whatever access you want, you can go and take it from here. Okay. CloudWatch, Gateway, DynamoDB, Elastic Graphics, whatever service you want in short. Going back to my CloudFront network, it is still in progress. Fine. Okay, one more thing, then if you want, you can go to your distribution settings, and either you can go like this or you can directly click on the ID over here, which will again take you over there. If you have to go and refresh the cache across throughout the world, you can go to your invalidation, you can click on create invalidation, and you can give the path. Now star means everything will be revalidated, or it will go and refresh and be uploaded in the cache. If you go and give that folder, then only the data inside that folder will go and it will be cached. So these are the two ways. Now actually it says enabled right now and the status is in progress, so which means that it is there. So let's go here and this and this, and the moment I do this, I should see the content as new server over here. Going back, let's go and do it one more time. Instead of new server, let's call it new service. Here connect button and the connect button, and let's do the same for the next machine, so that both the places we will do it in one shot itself. And the connect button. So let's go and copy this location straight away and let's start. So sudo nano this, same thing over here, sudo nano this. Now let's go, instead of new server, let's say new service, and here also instead of new server we will call it new service. Okay, now if I go here and I refresh the page, I will still not see new service, though By that logic, if I go back to my instances and I look at the IP address, I am still going to see new service. And the reason is CloudFront has cached that thing and my server is in America and I am opening it in Mumbai. So my instance is saying new service fine. Here, web server 2, here also it is saying new service, that is also fine. However, my CloudFront is not saying new server, new service. It is saying new server only. Now, please don't be confused. If your data center were in Mumbai, it would have told you new service rather faster. So the problem is that Mumbai has still cached it and Mumbai region will take time in updating the data from my servers of North Virginia. So for that reason, what I will do, I will go over here inside my distribution network, click on the invalidation and create an invalidation. So this invalidation is going to go and update the cache from all the CloudFront edges, which means it's going to update the cache from Mumbai, and inside Mumbai after this I will see the new data. So after this invalidation is actually successful, I go over here and I click on refresh. Instead of new server, I will see new service as I see now. So I can go and change it like that. By the way, why it is still doing like that? Because it is doing across all the data centers. Now Mumbai would have been, or my data center would have been top on the list, so it happens earlier, but it has gone at this moment and updated it across all the data centers throughout the global data network of AWS. So this invalidation object you can do over there, yes. However, this all is pretty costly, so just keep that in mind. It is expensive, so you should just not go and do invalidation for the sake of doing it. It is pretty costly. Now, going back, I had to look at the pricing of my CloudFront. However, I don't find it inside my AWS calculator. So if you see like that, in that case, you can just go and search for that service. So let's say I have opened up CloudFront and AWS. You go to that place and always on the end, it will show you the pricing. Okay, so you see this data, it is telling you that 50 GB of data transfer in and out is free for 12 months, and 2 million requests of HTTP and HTTPS each month is free. After that, whatever you do will be chargeable. And how will it be chargeable? For first 10 terabytes, it will be this. After this, it will be this. After that, it will be this and this. Also, if you can commit that you are going to make at least 10 terabytes or higher, you can go for AWS and then they will give you a discounted pricing. After that, it will charge you for the data out from each of the region. Generally, now we also have India over here as a standalone place. So US, Mexico, Canada comes over here, but India separately comes over here. The only sad part is that India is pretty expensive actually. So if this is only 0.04, India is 0.100. Okay, so it is approximately 5 times to 2.5 times expensive. If it is 0.08, it is 0.17. So consider like if it is 85 rupees, it is 170 rupees. Okay, so India is pretty expensive for CloudFront for on demand. Same thing over here. If you go, if it is 75, it is 90 in India. And then shield request and all these things. So why we wanted to come here is because if you go to calculator, we don't see the pricing for CloudFront. In that case, you can just go and open the page of cloud aws.amazon.com followed by the name of the service. For example, EC2, if you want, you can go over there and it will show you Amazon EC2. And if you click on pricing over there, it will show you the pricing of EC2. So either you can go for your AWS calculator, or you can directly come to this page itself. For example, if I want S3, just go over there and it will show you the pricing of S3. For instance, if I want, let's say SNS, just go and put SNS over there and it will show you the pricing of SNS. So in short, whatever prices you want, you can directly go to the AWS page and you can also get it from there. So this is about your CloudFront and about your global accelerator. Now that this is done, we can choose to terminate the instances over here. And once it is terminated, you can go and anyhow remove your load balancers. Now to remove the load balancer, it is not required that you have to remove the instances. You can just remove the load balancer as it is also. So once you go to your load balancer, just delete that once it is done. Though in real life, you will hardly go and delete the load balancer ever. And once that is done, it's good now because you have a distribution which is actually sending data, but it's not doing anything. So it's wise to go and delete it, but you cannot delete it directly. First, you will have to go and disable it. Once it is there, you can delete it. So I'll go and delete the previous one, and in some time after this delete is enabled, I'll go and remove this CloudFront distribution network also. So now if you have to talk about the global data and the network, global network in short, wherein you have your data inside a region and you want to make it available across the geography. In that case, you can take help of CloudFront. Now there are various services for that. You can take help of CloudFront, first method. Second is your Global Accelerator, you can take help of that. Third is your Route 53 also, in which case you can go and create the policies in Route 53, which is going to route your traffic based on your geolocations. So if you are in India, you open this. If you are in America, you open this, and so on. So that's also a way by which you can do the routing. And then basically these all services are part of your content delivery network, or these also will actually show up over here inside networking and content delivery. So you can use your CloudFront, you can use your Route 53, you can use your Global Accelerator, you can use your API gateway. Direct Connect is to connect your own data center with AWS. That is also like distribution network. App Mesh is to go and control your microservices. Cloud Map is to go and build a dynamic map of your cloud. So basically, anything to do with the networking part, it will show up over here inside this one. Okay. So we do understand now what a CloudFront is and what a global accelerator is. So that's it for your CloudFront and global accelerator.